If you're over 60, this message could save your life. Every night across America, millions of older adults settle into bed with the same comforting routine: a small snack, a cozy blanket, and a show to unwind. Maybe it's a bag of light microwave popcorn, a cup of fruit-flavored yogurt, or a few whole-grain crackers. The packaging says heart-healthy, low-fat, guilt-free. It feels like the right choice. But here's the truth. What feels harmless may be quietly harmful. These so-called healthy snacks, the ones you've trusted for years, could actually be increasing your risk of a silent, life-altering stroke while you sleep. Let me tell you about Walter. He was 74, a retired Navy officer, a disciplined man with a nightly ritual: one bag of microwave popcorn and a dose of late-night comedy. Nothing fancy, nothing dangerous, or so he thought. One morning, his wife found him in bed, frozen. His mouth drooped, his right arm limp. No words came out. He had suffered a massive stroke in the early hours, while the rest of the house slept. He survived, but everything changed: speech, balance, memory, independence. As a brain doctor, I've seen this same pattern too many times. Stroke doesn't knock, it doesn't warn you. It strikes when the body is most vulnerable, when the blood is thicker, the vessels tighter, and the brain is least protected. That window is often while you're resting, or right before you wake up. And the truth no one tells you is this: your evening snack, that thing you do without thinking, could be setting you up for that exact risk. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 5 snacks that millions of Americans believe are healthy, but are silently tightening your arteries, inflaming your blood vessels, and increasing your stroke risk as you sleep. And more importantly, I'll share 5 delicious, easy swaps that do the opposite. Snacks that nourish your brain, support your circulation, and help you sleep safer. Because after 60, the difference between "I feel fine" and "I can't move my arm" isn't always a diagnosis. It's often a decision, like what you eat after dinner. Let's make it the right one. Let me ask you something. Have you ever reached for a snack before bed and thought, "It's whole grain, can't be bad," or "It's low fat, must be good for me," or even, "It's yogurt, healthy, right?" You're not alone. These aren't just your thoughts, they're ideas planted by decades of marketing. Words like light, low-fat, natural, and heart-healthy have been carefully chosen to reassure you, to make you feel smart and safe. But the truth is, especially after age 60, that trust can become a trap. At this stage in life, your metabolism slows, your arteries are more delicate, your brain more vulnerable to pressure, sugar, and silent inflammation. And this makes you more sensitive to the effects of food, especially late-night food. That's why snacks that seem harmless, even recommended, can actually work against your brain while you sleep. Let's start with microwave popcorn. It's quick, satisfying, and says "light butter" on the box. But inside, there's often over 400 milligrams of sodium, nearly a third of your daily limit. That alone raises blood pressure. But it doesn't stop there. The butter flavor often contains diacetyl, a chemical linked to neurological damage. And the lining of the bag? It may contain PFOA, a chemical used in Teflon, which disrupts hormones and irritates blood vessels. The result? A snack that slowly hardens the very arteries that feed your brain. Next, fruit-flavored yogurt. The label says contains probiotics. It shows images of berries and sunshine. But check the nutrition facts. Many cups have 15 to 20 grams of added sugar. That's 5 teaspoons, right before bed. At this age, your insulin sensitivity has declined. That sugar hits harder, stays longer, and causes more inflammation, especially in the arteries of your brain. Now take whole grain crackers. The word whole makes them sound virtuous, but most are made with refined wheat flour, stripped of fiber and bound with industrial oils like soybean or canola. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which fuel chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. It's not just empty calories, it's a slow erosion of your vascular system. Then there's turkey jerky, the poster child for healthy protein. But look closer. It's loaded with sodium, nitrates, and preservatives. These additives have been linked to endothelial dysfunction. That's the breakdown of the delicate lining inside your blood vessels. When that lining is damaged, your arteries can't relax, your blood pressure goes up, and your stroke risk climbs. Finally, bottled smoothies. They look wholesome. Vibrant colors, no added sugar claims, pictures of fruit and vegetables. but many are essentially fruit juice concentrates, stripped of fiber and full of natural sugar. Without fiber to slow the absorption, fructose floods your liver, spikes triglycerides, and triggers insulin resistance, laying the groundwork for fatty liver, high blood pressure, and eventually, a brain that doesn't get what it needs. Now here's what most people miss. None of these snacks will cause a stroke by themselves. Not tonight, not next week. But over time, they create the conditions, the slow tightening of blood vessels, the constant inflammatory pressure, the impaired blood flow, especially dangerous in the brain where every cell relies on steady circulation. So stop for a moment. Look at your pantry, your fridge. Which of these snacks are already part of your nightly routine? Which ones feel healthy but carry hidden risks? Here's the good news. You don't have to stop snacking. You just have to stop trusting the label. And in a moment, I'll show you 5 smart swaps that support your arteries, reduce inflammation, and still taste amazing. Because the difference between a risky night and a restorative one might just be in the snack you choose. You might be wondering, why does it matter so much when we snack? Why is nighttime such a high-risk window for stroke? It all comes down to how your body behaves while you sleep. During the night, your systems shift into low gear. Your heart rate slows. Your body temperature drops. Blood pressure naturally dips, and you become slightly dehydrated, not because you did anything wrong, but because your body isn't taking in fluids for 6 to 8 hours. This is part of your body's energy conservation process. It's normal, but it also means your blood is a little thicker, your circulation a little slower. Now imagine adding salt to that equation, from a bag of microwave popcorn or a serving of jerky. Sodium holds on to water. It causes your body to retain fluid in the wrong places, not in the vessels, but around them. Your blood becomes more concentrated, more viscous. Your heart has to work harder to push it. Your arteries, especially if already narrowed with age or plaque, become like stiff hoses under pressure. Or let's say you go for something sweet. A bottle of fruit smoothie or a flavored yogurt. What feels light and wholesome is often packed with sugar, 15 to 20 grams in a single serving. That sugar floods your bloodstream. Your pancreas jumps into action, pushing out insulin to bring it down. But in older adults, that insulin response is slower and less effective. So the sugar lingers, irritating your blood vessel walls. And over time, that irritation becomes inflammation. That inflammation becomes stiffness. And that stiffness turns into risk. Here's the part no one tells you. Most strokes happen between 4 and 7 a.m. That's when your body is naturally waking up. Your cortisol rises, your blood pressure begins to climb, your brain is preparing for a new day. But if your arteries are inflamed or narrowed, if your blood is already thick from salt and sugar, that morning surge can be too much. Imagine trying to pump syrup through a straw. If the straw is soft, it flexes. If it's rigid and inflamed, it cracks. This is especially important if you already live with high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, or early heart disease. But even if you don't, even if you feel fine, these snack choices create conditions that quietly chip away at your protection. Let's break down what's really happening with each snack. Microwave popcorn. The sodium load alone can push your pressure higher. But the artificial butter flavor, made with diacetyl, adds a compound linked to neurological stress. Combine that with PFOAs from the packaging, and you're creating oxidative damage that weakens the blood vessel walls. Flavored yogurt. The sugar spike is the silent killer here. Insulin surges at night when your body should be resting. Blood vessels swell, inflammation rises, and in seniors with already impaired glucose control, the recovery from that spike takes hours, if not all night. Whole grain crackers. Despite the label, most are made with refined flour and contain seed oils like soybean or canola. These are pro-inflammatory, oxidize easily, and deliver a glycemic spike nearly as strong as white bread. Turkey jerky. Nitrates and sodium team up here to damage your endothelium, the inner lining of your arteries. That's the layer that tells your vessels when to dilate or relax. When it's damaged, your vessels stay tight, rigid, and vulnerable to rupture. Bottled smoothies. Without fiber, even natural sugars absorb quickly and hit the liver hard. The excess fructose turns to fat. That raises triglycerides, drives insulin resistance, and stiffens the arteries that lead to and inside the brain. Now put all that together. Thickened blood, inflamed vessels, rising pressure while you're asleep. You don't feel it, you don't hear it, but your brain is fighting to maintain oxygen. Your heart is pumping uphill. Your vascular system is doing overtime when it should be healing. By the time you open your eyes, it could already be too late. So if you've been thinking it's just a snack before bed, I urge you to think again, because what you eat after dinner can decide what happens before sunrise. But don't worry, this is not about fear, it's about knowledge. And next, I'll show you what you can eat instead. Foods that nourish your brain, support your blood flow, and help you sleep with confidence. Because prevention doesn't live in pills. It starts on your plate, and it can start tonight. So, what should you eat instead? If the snacks you've trusted for years are quietly putting pressure on your brain and blood vessels, it's time to rethink the routine. But not with fear, with smarter, healing choices. Because snacking, done right, can become part of your brain's nightly repair team. The key is simple. Choose foods that work with your biology, not against it. That means snacks that keep your blood flowing smoothly, avoid sudden sugar spikes, reduce nighttime inflammation, and support the natural rhythms of rest and repair. Here are 5 brain-friendly alternatives I recommend to my own patients, especially those over 60. Each one supports circulation, reduces pressure, and protects memory. And none of them take more than 5 minutes to prepare. 1. Air-popped popcorn with olive oil and herbs. Skip the microwavable bag. Make it fresh in a simple air popper or pan. Drizzle with extra virgin olive oil. Add a pinch of rosemary, oregano, or thyme. Why it works. Real popcorn is a whole grain, rich in fiber that supports gut health and digestion. The herbs contain natural anti-inflammatory compounds. Olive oil provides heart-healthy fats that improve vascular elasticity. And there's no hidden sodium or chemicals. What it does for you: keeps blood pressure steady, reduces oxidative stress, and nourishes the vessels that keep your brain alive through the night. 2. Plain Greek yogurt with fresh blueberries. Toss the flavored cups filled with sugar. Choose unsweetened Greek yogurt and add a handful of real whole blueberries. Why it works. Greek yogurt gives you protein and gut-friendly probiotics without the insulin surge. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, plant compounds shown to improve blood flow to the brain and reduce cognitive decline. What it does for you: stabilizes blood sugar, calms inflammation, and feeds the memory centers of your brain. 3. Cucumber slices with hummus. Cool, crisp cucumber paired with a generous spoon of hummus. Why it works. Cucumber is hydrating, helping counter overnight fluid loss. Hummus, made from chickpeas, delivers magnesium, fiber, healthy fats, and plant-based protein, all essential for circulation. What it does for you: reduces blood viscosity, nourishes arteries, and supports calm, healthy digestion, crucial during sleep. 4. Boiled egg or handful of unsalted almonds. A hard-boiled egg, a palmful of raw almonds. That's it. No processing, no preservatives, no sugar. Why it works. Eggs are one of the best sources of choline, a nutrient essential for brain signaling and memory. Almonds provide vitamin E, magnesium, and antioxidants that reduce artery stiffness and protect neurons. What it does for you: enhances neuroprotection, calms the nervous system, and provides sustainable energy for overnight repair. 5. Homemade green smoothie blend. Spinach, frozen banana, chia seeds, avocado, and water, or unsweetened almond milk, into a creamy green shake. Why it works. This smoothie is packed with potassium for blood pressure, magnesium for vessel relaxation, fiber for blood sugar control, and omega-3s for inflammation reduction. No juice, no additives. What it does for you: supports liver detox, lowers nighttime pressure spikes, and restores vascular tone while you sleep. Let me pause here, because this isn't just about snacks. It's about how we think about health. Modern medicine often prescribes pills for every symptom. Statins for cholesterol, beta blockers for pressure, blood thinners for stroke prevention. But few ask, why is the inflammation there to begin with? Why is the blood pressure rising? The truth is, food is not just calories, it's information. Every bite sends a message, telling your body to constrict or relax, to inflame or to heal. These 5 snack swaps aren't light versions. They are interventions, gentle daily choices that help your body restore itself. Because real prevention doesn't come from a pharmacy, it starts in your kitchen. So the next time you feel a craving after dinner, remember, You're not just feeding your hunger, you're feeding the brain you'll wake up with tomorrow, and that's a future worth protecting. Most people focus on what they eat, fewer think about when, but for your brain, especially after 60, timing can be just as important. Here's why. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows. That means food, especially sugar, fat, and salt, stays in the bloodstream longer. Eating late at night forces your digestive system to stay active when it should be resting. And instead of healing and repairing, your body is fighting to process calories in the dark. What does that do to your brain? For one, late-night eating disrupts blood sugar rhythms. Your pancreas doesn't work as efficiently while you sleep. A spike in glucose after dinner can leave sugar lingering in your blood for hours, increasing inflammation in your vessels and straining your heart as it slows down for the night. Second, blood pressure follows a natural dip at night, part of your body's recovery process. But if your snack contains sodium or sugar, it can blunt that dip, keeping your pressure elevated into the early morning hours, when strokes are most likely to happen. Finally, your blood becomes more concentrated overnight due to natural dehydration. If you've added a salty snack or sugary drink, the thickness increases. Your arteries are now pumping syrup, not water. So what can you do? Start with this simple rule. Stop eating at least 2 hours before bed. Give your body time to digest, settle, and shift into repair mode. Then, try these 2 easy habits. 1. Sip magnesium-rich water before sleep. Magnesium helps relax arteries, lower blood pressure, and calm the nervous system. It's a natural way to support nighttime circulation and deeper sleep. 2. Take a gentle walk after dinner. Just 5 to 10 minutes is enough to improve insulin sensitivity, aid digestion, and reduce glucose spikes, all of which help prevent nighttime vascular stress. You don't need another pill. You need rhythm. Because true healing doesn't just come from what's on your plate, but when it enters your bloodstream. If this made you pause, if you're now looking at your pantry a little differently, good. Because that moment of awareness, that's where real change begins. Every day, I meet patients who wish they'd known sooner, who thought they were doing the right thing, who trusted labels instead of their bodies. But you don't have to wait for a wake-up call. You can make the shift starting tonight. Swap just one snack, adjust your timing, add 5 minutes of movement. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware and giving your brain what it needs to thrive, not just survive. If this resonated with you, I'd love to know. Comment "Brain Strong" if this video changed the way you think about nighttime snacking. Share this with a loved one who snacks late, especially if they've had high blood pressure, diabetes, or trouble sleeping. It could be the most important message they hear all week. And don't forget to download your free brain-safe snack guide below, a simple, printable list of smart swaps and timing tips you can use starting today. Finally, subscribe for weekly insights that put your health back in your hands, not in a bottle, not in a procedure room, but where it belongs, with you. Because the greatest act of self-care is prevention. And your brain, it's worth every bite.